Myth of the Spinners, Act 1, Inner Silk. Once, long ago, in the then times, in the weather wars, when humans were young, and the dragon who guards the world slept and dreamt, and the world dangled from a thread in a cosmic abyss. Some paid no attention to the thread on which we dangled, but others watched it closely, saw how the thread grew thin, felt the fibers as they strained under the weight of the world. Like thread engineers, they kept track. They added knots and patches, prayers and ropes, to keep the world spinning and dangling from its thread, the thread of life. Our numbers grow, they said. How do we hold us? How do we keep the world from falling? The people hummed, they hawed. By humming, some learned to secrete silk from their bodies. Silk threads as strong as steel, as flexible as protein, as shining as moonlight, came out of their ears, nostrils, navels, all entrances to the body. They looped these threads over, under, and around, whatever they could to keep them attached to the world. These people were known as the spinners. Those who learned to make silk in their bodies, or who had learned from their grandmothers, who had learned from their grandmothers, who had learned from their grandmothers, how to spin the thread of life, to hold the world together. As flexible as moonlight, as shining as protein, as strong as steel. The threads were so fine they could hardly be seen, and they held the world together. And still, the spinners said, the thread that holds the world grows thin. How do we spin faster, stronger, more? No answers came from mouths. But then an ear began to speak, and then an ear, and another ear, ears across the world. They spoke and said, go to the river of 7 names. There you will find the other spinners. There you will find a mirror, a nest, and a sacred stain that may assist your quest. Oh, they said, yes. They left from all directions. They came from down below. They came by air and by foot and by root. They carried themselves. They burst from their own chests. From great chaos they came. They came humming and swearing. They felt their way in the dark. They flew toward the flame. They followed their winding guts. They followed the thread of life. They carried gifts in their mouths and grief. They carried questions. They carried threads for the loom and flames for the fire. They carried songs for the singing and lands in the shapes of their thinking. They carried anger, angels, ancestors. They carried their histories, mysteries, lost and forgotten tongues. They carried their people. They met by the river of 7 names. They touched the ground. Here? Here, hummed the host. Here. They laid down their ears, their eyes. They sighed. And then A form appeared, point by point, as if of pollen fallen into form, a shimmer, a queen. Esteemed guests, she hummed, you have entered my lands. These lands now wish to enter you. The soil, the flowers, the slant of sun and moon combine to form a door on the tongue. Taste our potion and walk through, if you so choose. This is the bee way, though there be others. And from her hum, a portion of honey was offered. Thus introduced, the queen dispersed in all directions.